Ba-dum bum bum bum. I am dumb. Ba-dum bum bum bum. We am dumb. Ba-dum bum bum bim bum ba bum. We's really dumb.
That was great. Thanks for the intro music, Ian.
You're welcome.
Or
Murna.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Murna.
Ian, and he's Murna. Today we're talking about soap. I don't know how
Soap?
to intro this now that we don't have the cold open. We are dumb. Ian and Myrna don't understand much, so we learning and we trying to teach you is dumb. So I want to talk about soap.
Is this
Soap
a pointed topic? Are you trying
No.
to say something?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%. No, I was thinking about it the other day. Me and my partner were talking about it, and I like bar soaps, but I'm not like 100% sold. Like I don't have to use a bar soap, but I like a bar soap. Like when I'm washing myself in the shower, I use a bar soap. She uses like a body wash, but like the fancy shit, you know, like
a lavender scented.
Yeah,
shea
hers right now
olay.
is strawberry, but yes, like very much so that kind of stuff. And I was like, what's the difference? Why does it matter? I don't understand. And mine is $3 max. Yours is, $13 for that bottle. Why? Why are we doing this? And so it got me thinking. And I've never looked into soap or how soap works. I learned a lot. A lot of stuff I wouldn't have guessed. But yeah, it got me into this, and that's what we're here for, right?
Well, it's good you pick soap because I feel very strongly about soap. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm 100% against. I don't like bar soap.
Really? Okay.
I have fallen into the bar soap hole before, getting stuck with like Irish Spring, everything. Irish Spring also has like a body wash.
Yeah.
But I like growing up, we had to use bar soap, and I don't like bar soap. And I'm past the need. If we're talking about shower times, I don't use a rag anymore.
What do you use?
I have like an exfoliating scrubber thing, not a loofah, because I know those loofahs hold a lot of bacteria and stuff. So I don't mess with loofahs. But it's like a little latex with like little finger grippies on it.
Oh, I've seen stuff like that. Yes.
I use one of those, and then when it gets like it never has gotten scummy or dirty or anything, because you just run it under the water when you're done and get all the soap off of it, and you're fine. And it's flexible, so like you can bend it and get between all the little like
little hair things.
But I really like using that, but you pretty much have to use. I tried taking because I do have bar soap. I've fallen into the scam of like, we're never going to get sponsored by Dr. Squatch, but I've fallen into the Dr. Squatch scam to get like the super cheap soap,
You say scam, but that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Normally, I would go through the history of soap first and work from there. Today, I'm going to start with the different types of soap and why it doesn't matter.
It's just more water added the wetter the soap is, right?
Yeah, so pretty much, all soaps, or what are now detergents. We don't really use soaps as they were once classically called, something that is a common theme we're learning in this podcast journey, but they're detergents. So basically they all do the same thing. Just to step into it really fast, soap kind of works the same way. Soap molecules are set up like a sperm, so they have a head and a tail. Yes. Yeah. So instead of it being like a sperm where the tail is like the little flowy bit, to swim, this tail is like a zigzag pattern so that it can pry into the germs. Okay? So what ends up happening is the head of this thing is hydrophilic, so attracted to water. The tail of this thing is attracted to grease and oils and shit like that, right? So when you soap up, and it's hydrophobic, so it's not attracted to the water. So when you soap up, you're like, the little tail gets into the germ molecules, puts its little zigzag tail in and pries up into there. And then the head pulls toward the water, and this is fucking metal, but it just tears apart the dirt molecules.
Is soap alive?
Yeah, kinda.
It's like a living, organism?
It's not like a living organism, but the things that are in it. You want to know what soap is made of?
Kinda, not really. Living things? I know it used to be made with like fats and stuff, or
soap is made of fats and oils melted down. So it can be vegetable oils. Nowadays, again, it's a detergent, but soap is made of fats and oils melted down and then mixed with a strong alkali material. So lye was a big one for a long time. There was a lot of stories I read about like older cultures that used ash as something that was a cleaning material. Liquid soap uses something called potassium hydroxide, or potash, which sounds like a drug to me. It feels like something you would smoke.
It sounds like a food. It sounds like food.
I could do that. Like a hearty stew.
A big old bowl of potash.
Yeah, I could see that. but that's what goes into liquid soap. So it is like different fats and oils create different types of soap. So like a coconut oil makes really, really big bubbles and tends to like hydrate your skin a little more. Whereas sunflower oil is oily and makes the skin feel oily.
I don't like that. That's probably
Mm-hmm.
my least favorite kind of any body product.
So that is ultimately what it comes down to, right? Is like soap is set up for different people. Basic bar soaps and body soaps, they both work by dissolving dirt on your skin. So the dirt and grime from the day mixes with the oils on the top layer of your skin. Again, that soap gets in there, it pulls it apart, and then you wash it off and it all goes with it because it's hydrophilic. Okay, cool. Um, Body soaps tend to have additives in there. So body soaps tend to have more hydrating formulas, or liquid soaps as well. I will say like hand soaps and stuff like that. They tend to have more hydrating formulas. So all a bar soap does is clean your skin. If all you're looking to do is get clean, a bar soap does that 100% of the time with the least environmental impact and the like least additives. It's hypoallergenic a lot of the time. Like it is going to be your most basic soap option.
But it doesn't have the 12 hydrating ingredients like
Yes.
B12 and vitamin D
Yes.
that cost $5 extra.
Exactly. Where like body washes and liquid soaps add all that stuff so that you're not getting dried out. Or if you have certain skin conditions, like you're more dry or more oily as a person, or you have like clogged pores, or anything along those lines. I think like anything that is like saying it's going to clean your body and do something for your body, that is going to be found in a body wash, not a body soap, most of the time.
Yeah, because I bought a bar soap one time, and this is the only time I've ever had a soap or a moisturizer do anything to my skin, and I broke out into hives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not allergic to anything, but this
That you
this
know.
soap that I know of, and I don't know what was in that soap, but it was like one of those like real angular square soaps, like they don't shave anything
Yes,
off.
yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes, yes.
cut into blocks. It was not Dr. Squatch. It was a different one. And I bought like a 3-pack of them. I had to give the other ones away because I couldn't get through. Like I'm like my whole body, little red dots and stuff.
You probably had like an allergic reaction to something there. Your body reacted
Well,
poorly to
it was a
something that was
super
in there.
scented one because when I use like Dove or something, I got no
Mm-hmm.
problem. Irish Spring, I got no problem. But this one soap, and I don't know. I'm not gonna even if I did know who it was, I wouldn't put him on blast here. But I mean, it messed me up.
Well, that's again, that's ultimately what it comes down to is like what your body needs and what it reacts to the worst. Something that I'll get into a little later, but is something that I'll bring up now. People also didn't originally bathe daily. I kind of talk about it for a while, but like in more ancient cultures, they bathed regularly, but not daily.
They were pheromone maxing.
Kind of.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok.
But again, I'll dive into that a little later when I go into the history of soap and how it kind of came to where we're at today. But people weren't bathing daily, they were bathing every few days or so, or maybe once a week or whatever, right? And so our body's natural pH is kind of set for that because that's what happened for so long. And now, by bathing daily, you are kind of messing with your body's natural amount of oils and stuff that it makes. That being said, everybody's different. Everybody has different types of skin. My skin gets a little more dry, but most of the time I don't need to put lotion on or anything like that. I'm good. I know like my partner needs to lotion up or else she gets all cracked and stuff like that on her hands and her feet and stuff like that. So like it is ultimately person by person and what your skin needs, but all soap works the same.
Probably our diets have helped influence a
Yes,
need for bathing every day too, because that stuff comes out in your skin.
it does.
So I can see where like people were eating more probably back when they were showering once or twice a week or something, or a month, depending on where they're
Well,
from.
I'll get into that.
But if they're eating more like all natural stuff, they probably don't need to. They probably did need to shower a little more often, but
They probably did, yes,
you know
realistically.
they got
But
nose blind to it.
otherwise, like most of the stuff that you see for why you should buy a certain type of soap or lean toward a certain type of body wash or whatever, or why a body wash is $17 or what the fuck ever, is advertising and additives. Nowadays, it has become a merchandising thing.
We
We
love
live in a
merchandising.
capitalistic hellscape.
We love
Um,
marketing.
I will mention an outlier in this is a shower gel, and I personally Hate a shower gel. Hate it. Hate the sensation. It's terrible.
Remember when they used to come with the microplastics built in?
Oh my God. Yes. That's another thing. It's just a thinner version of a body wash, essentially. It's less hydrating for your skin, cleaning it but not moisturizing it, which at that point, just use a bar soap. Like if you're not going for the moisturizing aspects anyways, just use the bar soap. Help the environment out a little more.
There was a guy when I was overseas, and we had access. I wasn't in like the shit. Like we had like a shower, we had like a whole tent set up. You can go shower and, you know, do all your business and stuff, and it was fine. And we could get soap very easily. But this dude wanted to use, and he said that the Greeks used to do it. He used body oil, so he wouldn't shower. There was no part of this where showering was involved. He would just put scented body oil on himself, and honestly, he did not smell bad. He smelled like the different scents and stuff, like rose water and lavender and stuff. He didn't stink, but he was trying to push it on everybody. Is there anything? Did you find anything about body oil? He said that the Greeks or the Romans used to use oil instead of...
was not the Greeks or the Romans. I'll tell you that. That was false information.
Well, homeboy was...
They actually were very clean people.
No, he was... Well, he wasn't. He was cooking oil, put olive oil on himself.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was nasty.
That's so gross, especially out in the desert.
With all the sand and stuff.
Yeah.
I assume like when the sandstorm kicks up and you're covered in oil.
Yeah, that's terrible. Terrible idea.
It wasn't me. I showered. I used soap.
No, absolutely not. Okay, speaking of these different types of soap, some little things I will bring up. Like I said, bar soap tends to be more hypoallergenic. It's better for the environment because if you buy a thing of bar soap, typically it just comes in a little cardboard container, which is recyclable. Whereas like body washes come in the big plastic bottles and stuff like that, a little harder to reuse. Or like you mentioned, shower gels and body washes put those little beads in there and stuff like that. And those are bad for the pipes. And when they get out into like the sewage and stuff like that, terrible for that as well.
And the fish eat them.
And blah, 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 blah. So like when it comes down to it, bar soap is your most basic type of soap. It is going to get you clean, and it is going to completely dissolve as it goes down the drain. There's going to be nothing left of it other than that cardboard box that you can recycle. It is the most environmentally friendly choice. Something that the FDA and a lot of people have gotten on, especially there's this new thing of greenwashing that is going around, is what they're calling it, but more reusable products and stuff like that for washing yourself and blah, 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 blah. Bar soap tends to lead the race with that if you're looking for something that's more environmentally friendly. Antibacterial soap. We've all heard of an antibacterial soap, right? We've all heard of, antimicrobial properties and blah, 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 blah. That is bullshit. Do not buy those. It is terrible for you. It is terrible for the environment. It is no goo. No goo. Don't want that.
I always notice antimicrobial soap dries my hands out really bad.
You do not want it. Yes, it is bad. There are tons of FDA pushes against antibacterial and antimicrobial stuff. There was 19 different things, different ingredients that were being put in those that got specifically targeted by the FDA. Soap isn't technically a natural antibacterial, but it is going to clean the majority of bacteria away from you. And it should be mentioned that some bacteria is good bacteria. It's okay. Your kids can eat a little dirt. They'll be fine. If anything, you're helping their immune system.
You heard it here first, folks. On the I Am Dumb podcast, we encourage children to eat dirt.
A little bit of dirt's going to do them good. I mean, realistically, and that is the big thing with antibacterial, is it's not getting you any more clean. What it is doing is killing bacteria that you should be ingesting and you should be having in your body. And you're going to get the common cold more often. You're going to get, the flu more often because you're not used to that bacteria. Your body can't naturally fight it.
And bacteria colonies try to fight other types of bacteria. So if you get rid of the good bacteria, then are you more likely for the bad bacteria to be the colonies that you get?
So like antibacterial, not the way to go. Also terrible for the environment. A lot of the stuff that they make that antibacterial soap from is just dreadful. For the sewage, for the environment, for the making process, the whole thing's bad. Highly recommend stepping away from an antibacterial soap. If you're really worried about being clean, just use a bar soap. It's going to clean you, especially if you're just like washing your hands. You're fine. And wash your hands. Wash your hands multiple times a day, please.
It builds your immune system when you don't wash your hands. You heard it here first, folks. Don't wash your hands.
when you go potty, especially if you're a dude, wash your hands. We
Keep
don't want
that
you ding
stuff
dang.
on there. Shake it once,
No.
more than once, and you're playing with it, and just walk right out
No,
and
wash your
touch on the
hands. I don't want
doorknob
your
of
pee-pee germs.
all the people who put their pee-pee germs on the
I don't want
doorknob.
your pee-pee germs.
Make it. I always thought it was weird that they have the hand washing is before the part where you have to touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, that should be the cleanest handle.
It's definitely not.
It's not.
So
but in theory, if everybody washed their hands.
Maybe they should do like at festivals and stuff where they have the hand washing station outside
of the porta potties.
Yeah, like you get done. So like when you, let's say you go to Walmart, have the hand washing sinks outside the bathroom because like all the dudes are gonna walk it anyway. And now we have the added benefit of shame. So if you walk out of the bathroom, everybody who wasn't in the bathroom sees you're not washing your hands. Throw some shame in there.
I'll give you that one. Okay. So that is my basics of soap. That is why it doesn't matter what type of soap you're using other than for your personal preference and skin type and stuff like that.
So soap kills germs with little tails.
Yep. Little sperm tails. They get up in the walls of the circle and then just pull it apart until it breaks.
Antimicrobial bad.
Antimicrobial, antibacterial, anything like that bad.
Bar soap good.
Bar soap good. I always got the shame of like, oh, you shouldn't use a bar soap. You should use a body wash. It's better for you. Or it's not as clean or whatever. Bar soap is perfectly clean. There's no germs left behind on the soap. You're fine. Okay, so the history of soap. I'm going to say I was surprised by this. People were much cleaner back in the day than I would have thought. Soap was the earliest evidence we have of soap being made, at least, was in 2800 BC by the Babylonians. It's a long time ago. It was like, what, 4,000 years ago?
Yeah, it was like Gilgamesh and Enkidu and all them way back.
This is a long time ago. It was, like I said, ash mixed with the fats from cooked animals. It was theorized that it was actually kind of first figured out at like an almost barbecue-like event where they were cooking the fats down off of an animal and it was dripping into the ash. They kind of figured it out that way. It would essentially make an almost like clay-like mixture that would help clean your body.
And smells like bacon.
Yeah, I suppose. Everybody smelled like a great meal.
Those are better times.
But yeah, it was used from 2800 BC consistently until after the Roman Empire fell in 467 AD. And
then soap fell off.
Like for real, soap and bathing just fell off.
Hate that.
Yes. That was what led to the dirtiness of the Middle Ages.
The stinky times. That was what
caused, like the plague and all that stuff to go off was because from that point on, soaps that just got thrown to the wayside. So soap got its name from a Roman legend of Mount Sapo, where rain would fall down the mountain and mix with mountain ash and then animal fats and remains. Again, making that clay-like substance that would make cleaning yourself a little easier. Again, Romans were very big on bathing. They'd go to the bathhouse a couple times a week. It was probably the most regular bathing from a big civilization back then, where it was very common. Greeks did this too. 2-3 times a week, you would go to the bathhouse at least once a week, or else you were determined to be like gross.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Now the Romans get a lot of influence from like the Middle East and Egyptian culture and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
During the medieval periods, like the Dark Ages. If soap fell off there, did it also fall off in the Middle East, or were they still?
No, actually. So a lot of other cultures were still using soap. Two of the ones that I highlighted as being the biggest for continuing to stay clean was Japan. Japan, regular baths remained the usual. Again, they would bathe multiple times a week. They were very cleanliness based as a civilization. So they used their own special soaps and stuff that they made over there. Iceland, hot baths were a weekly thing at the minimum, if only just because it was nice hot water. But it was also a social thing where everybody was kind of expected to show up and hang out.
It's bath time.
Yeah, it was bath time. But there were plenty of other places that weren't Western civilization that were continuing to stay clean. I will admit, looking at this through an American lens and how it kind of came here and what kind of built up from there. So I do kind of look at the more English perspective of it. But I will say, of all cultures, the Western culture is dirtier through time.
So when they come over to visit, it was stinky times.
It's why a lot of them are viewed as like barbaric people, you know?
Well, I've heard of like the Viking, like the English did not like the Vikings because they showered more often or they bathed more
Yes.
often, took care of their hair, did all
Yes.
that, and they were like, you know, stealing their women and everything because they actually like
Took
hygiene is
care of
important,
themselves.
you know.
Hmm. And it's also why they thrived where the English were dying by the age of 30. You know what I mean? Like nobody was clean. And it's not good for you.
Oh, wash your hands.
Wash your body. It wasn't even just your hands.
And
Hand washing didn't even come back around until about the 19th.
I've heard of like Middle Eastern medical advances were like the most like
Mhm.
during like the Dark Ages, you know, in every other culture, medical advances were like way above and beyond because they still weren't figuring out how to wash their hands until when?
The 19th century is
The
when
19th
hand
century?
washing became big again.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Wash your
Yes.
hands.
It is not that hard. Like, and I was looking at it too because we're told, I was told at least, you sing happy birthday. You know, happy birthday. You sing it twice while you're washing your hands. That's how you know your hands are clean. You get like in between and your thumbs and all that stuff. Washing your hands, full cleanliness. But looking it up, even 10 seconds of washing your hands, just grab the soap, mix it like this, and wash it. You are doing such a favor to yourself.
Better than nothing.
Yes. So like it's not hard. Anyways, so during those times up until 67 AD and that descent of soap, it was a big thing. It was a constantly sought after product. It was a major profession that was being done. You would see soap stalls lining the Roman like walkways and stuff like that. Like people wanted to go buy soap. People wanted to be clean.
Good.
Yes. Until the 7th century, so the 600s AD, that is where through Europe this idea of bathing and washing started to really decline. So you had like a solid like 200 years where people were still kind of bathing and then it just gone. And that is what led to, like I said, that like dirtiness of the Middle Ages where people weren't clean. They had left like the Roman aqueduct system and stuff like that. So shit was piling up in the streets. You know, there were germs everywhere, rats running around, bugs, blah, 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 blah. That stayed around. Again, I'm going to repeat this. 7th century, so the 600s AD, is when that dropped off. That stuck around until the 12th century. So 500 years later was when soap started being made again in English, like, civilization.
Some say it still smells bad over there to this day.
They didn't do themselves any 500 years of not washing.
That's crazy.
And even then in the 12th century, so the 1100s AD, that wasn't like commonplace. That was like they were just starting to use soap again. It was starting to get into the zeitgeist.
Oh, those fancy washers over there bathing themselves once a week.
Yes. And it became like, maybe I should be bathing. And like once a month, they would go bathe themselves. And then it just slowly increased from there.
At least
but
they figured it out eventually.
I should once again mention they got started making soap again in the 12th century. It wasn't until the 16th century that bathing became regular again.
I had read somewhere where like they'd have surgeons go and like chop someone got gangrene, they'd chop their leg off and then go like deliver a baby immediately after and not wash their hands beforehand. Like I know like gloves and stuff are going to be way outside the purview, you know, of this time period, but like to have like nasty maggoty flesh on your hands,
pus filled and
then
stuff
go
like that,
pull a baby out of somebody like, you know, a minute later, like that's crazy. And how busy were they, you know?
Not that busy.
That's
not busy
wild.
enough.
So they're just hanging out. They're probably like smoking a cigarette, I guess smoking a pipe with gangrene juice on their hands and just like, it helps the flavor of the backy.
I mean, yeah, that is like, again, 500 years just to start making soap again, and then another 500 years for it to be common to bathe and wash yourself. So that is 1,000 years that they were putting themselves through this. When realistically, we had known since the Babylonian times how to make soap and to wash ourselves. Yeah, like what are we doing? Yep.
Nebuchadnezzar was like washing his hands before dinner and stuff, but like, now we're like, we can't.
Jesus was cleaner.
He was washing people's feet.
He was washing, like they were soaped up. They were smelling better than people in like the 10th century Europe were, which is crazy.
They smell like bacon. They smell like bacon.
Just, it's so wild to me that we went so backwards. But anyways, in the 1600s, the American colonies started to settle in and started making soap as well over here.
So the Americans were bathing before.
The Americans did start making soap in the 1600s before it became commonplace to bathe in England. However, they were only bathing once every month at a maximum, typically once every couple months, because
better than nothing.
It was a household chore to make the soap. It wasn't like they weren't using it for general cleanliness. It was more like they washed their clothes every 3 months. So every 3 months, you'd go down to the creek, you'd take your soap and your washboard, and you'd wash all your clothes and yourself while you're down there. And then you come back.
I mean, I can see, and this is now stinky Ian time. If I had to like hand make my own soap and also scrub, I've used a washboard before. It is not light work to use a washboard, and to go down to like a freezing cold creek and sit there, because I've used a washboard in like warm water in a tub, but like a cold ass creek to go wash my clothes, I can't imagine scrubbing. So I can kind of see like if it's not a pleasant experience to go, but like, you know, make it a pleasant experience.
I agree.
But
make it a social experience again.
Yes,
you know?
I think it'd be better to go back to how they were doing it in Iceland, and everybody gets together and we like boiled a bunch of water and did, you know, a bunch of this, you know.
Now, I will say I'm a big shower person. I think baths are a little gross because you're sitting in your own dirty water.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I would love a Roman bathhouse where like 12 other people are in the bath with me because it's just all of us boiling our gross, dirty water. But it's still better.
It's better than nothing.
Not washing at all for months.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. Especially, like, I'm going to be a little gross here, especially as a man with your pee-pee. And not everybody was getting the snip back then. So they all had, like, foreskins and stuff.
So smegma water.
Shit in there. Yeah.
Smegma
like,
water.
It's grody, you know?
Nasty schmegma water and all
But
this.
anywho, yes, the Americans technically were using it more often than English people.
America number one.
Yes.
Now that's actually why, and these are big facts on the I Am Dumb podcast. The American Revolution started because these stinky Brits were coming over here, and we wanted them out and got just stinking up our America.
It's funny you say that, because a large reason that soap still didn't get as commonly used until the 19th century was because it was heavily taxed once it did start becoming commonplace again. So in the 17th century, bathing started coming back into fashion for England and Western civilizations, but only in wealthy areas. That's where it became a thing of like, oh, you smell good. It's because you are a wealthier person, because it was so highly taxed as a luxury item.
That's crazy to think of soap as a luxury item.
Yes. So for another 200 years until the 19th century, when the tax finally was dropped, the common man still wasn't using soap. It was people who had money, people who are of the elite.
Well, here's a good video idea. Ian. Let's go make Murna. Let's go make some soap.
Yeah, I mean, soap making's become like a really big thing. People say it's actually pretty easy to do. I've seen some content creators who go out and like buy other people's soaps, and then you can shave them down with like a cheese grater and remelt it and make it into your own soaps if you want to like mix up other people's soaps and stuff like that. It's definitely a thing.
Have you seen the, because you like using bar soap, have you seen it goes on the wall and you put your bar soap in it and then close it, and it's a soap dispenser. But when you press the lever, it's got like a little razor or something, the cheese grater on the inside, and it pushes the bar soap onto it, and every push spins the bottom part and it shaves. It makes shaving. So you do like 1, 2, and now you have some bar soap shavings in your hand, and then you wet it up.
That would be pretty cool.
And wash with that. I've seen that
float
around like TikTok shop and stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into that. I think especially with your little hand thing, that would be super easy to do. Just like shove the whole glove thing in there. Yeah.
You know, and it is like bar soap is significantly cheaper than like body wash and stuff.
Well, I told you why. So yeah, until the 19th century, the common man wasn't using soap. That is when we started getting into that idea of, maybe cleaning your hands while you're tending to war wounds might help. Maybe that'll keep people from dying. And that was when they realized that doctors who were using soap were having less patients die and stuff like that. Probably because those doctors were wealthy and using soap and had less germs, full circle. But yeah, it also, once that tax was dropped, it started becoming America's fastest growing industry in 1850. They started doing a lot more research into the fats and oils that you could put into soap, and they discovered this thing called soda ash, which you can make from salt, which worked really, really well in soap. So pretty much what they ended up doing was the taxes dropped, people started figuring out easier, faster ways to make soap, and it became big again in
Is that where
America.
salt scrubs come from?
Yes. Exfoliating and all that good stuff, and a lot of the stuff that gets thrown out with that stuff. Yeah, and then like that also, once they started figuring out how to make that stuff and soap became made more commonly, they started getting this byproduct of soap called glycerin. That led us to the creation of explosives.
Heart medicine.
And heart medicine, yeah. And so like things started kind of branching off of that. That was also where like the scientific revolution really started to pick up, and we started to get like a lot of those big scientific inquiries into like cleanliness and like, you know, researching penicillin and blah 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 and germs kind of started from there and grew. And that pretty much stayed the same. So pretty much stayed the same until about World War One, where due to a lack of animal and vegetable fats and oils that could be used, they needed to figure out something new to mix with this alkali material to create soap.
At least they didn't just throw soap out the window.
Thank God we didn't do that again, right? Like we had 200 good years and then we were just like, nah, all right.
Oh, the Great War. It'll be the Stinky War too.
No, that was where we see the soaps we technically know now, if you're not buying like an all natural product or something like that, which are technically detergents, pretty much work the exact same way, except instead of being made with pure oils or pure fats, they're making them with chemically engineered products that do pretty much the exact same thing. That was actually originally figured out by the German scientists of the time. Yeah.
Nazis.
Yeah. But it caused the Americans to try and keep up because obviously you don't want soldiers dying when you're in a big war. So they needed to make their own soaps. They had to make their own chemical compositions, so on and so forth. And that's where we started seeing like detergents become a thing. So it wasn't until after World War II, I would say, maybe like right at the ass end of World War II, that detergents became like big in America. And that was when they started making like laundry detergent and soap and dishwasher liquids and blah 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 started picking up from there. Once we had detergents as a base, every other soap you can think of came after that.
These are all with the added chemicals and stuff that's bad for your skin, bad for the environment.
Yes. That is where that picked up, and it's because it was easier to make these. So like that's where in the 60s we get stain removers and laundry powders with enzymes. In the 70s, liquid hand soaps and fabric softeners. In the 80s, cold water washing, dishwasher liquids, concentrated laundry powders. In the 90s, more concentrated powders and liquids, fabric softeners, dishwashing gels, cleaning product refills became a thing. And then like we're just getting further and further from that stuff. 2012 was the newest thing that I could find in terms of like how they've revolutionized soap and detergents. They have a liquid laundry packet. That's what it's called. So
Tide Pods.
They're essentially Tide Pods. Yeah, you throw it in, it dissolves, it cleans, it lets go of like the liquid detergent and blah 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 blah. That was when that became the next big thing. Past that, soap is soap. Soap has stayed the same.
Would we make a call to action to bring soap back to soap? Make soap again?
I think we should make soap again. I'm a big fan of like just a basic soap. I don't think I need all that fancy shit.
We're not in the Great War anymore. We don't need Nazi science to wash our clothes. You know, bring it back to soap. You ever seen how they made soap in Fight Club?
No.
There's a scene in Fight Club where they go to a hospital and they jump in the dumpster behind the hospital and they get all the human fat from the biologic waste. Yeah, they make soap with human fat.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Probably doesn't smell as good as like bacon soap.
No,
I kind of want to try it.
Like the shit.
We can go get like a bunch of bacon and make some bacon soap.
Sounds like a great day for me. I'll eat up all that bacon while that grease is like drying down.
And then we can mix it with action and
I was reading that like soap making is it takes a couple hours and then like you have a bar of soap. It's not like an all day thing.
I think that'd be a fun YouTube video. If you make your own soap, put that
I
on
think it
there.
would be fun. Yeah.
But what else do you have about soap?
I have some bare minimum kind of stuff. I do have some controversies that came up about soap, but that was pretty much all the stuff I have other than some fun facts.
Oh, I love soap controversy.
So I'll go over the soap controversy first then. So again, the FDA is constantly going after different like corporations and stuff that are making these soaps for bad environmental practices, false claims on what their soaps can do, the banned materials and antibacterial soap, like what I said, or anything that said like it was going to do kills 99.9% of bacteria and stuff like that. They were shutting all that stuff down. There is such a thing as like too clean. Particularly, one big recent controversy that I looked into was a brand called Method soap. I don't want to shit on Method soap. I've never used it.
Shit on them. We never use them. Shit on them.
I've never used them. I don't want to shit on them. I'm going to say allegedly before I say this, just in case. Don't come after us, Method soap. But they caught a lot of flack in 2020. They said, this one is for certain. The FDA went after them for saying their products were non-toxic while not actually being non-toxic. So, yeah. Yep. So there were products in the soap that were toxic to ingest, toxic to just have around, toxic toward animals.
What kind of soap was it?
This was a hand washing soap.
So like if you go and like wash your hands with it, then go pick your nose, you go in the booger cavern, you might get sick.
Yes.
That's awful.
Yeah. And a woman was using it and was like saying like she was relying on it being non-toxic. She had children who were using this soap and ended up finding out that it was toxic. I think I should have wrote this one down, but I think one of them ended up in the hospital, which is how she found out. But anyways, she ended up suing the pants off them, and the FDA came in and was like, yeah, that's not gonna fly.
No.
So pulled all that stuff off the shelves, had like 3 big batches of Method soap that just got absolutely destroyed. Like the whole line got taken down. And this is in 2020. This is in COVID. This is where like people are buying soap off the shelves.
Soap has always been important, but now it is like doubly important.
Yes,
because there's a virus.
People are stocking up. Like people are panicking and trying to like double down on how much soap they even need. Like it is a whole thing. So on that same note, Method caught another thing for, this is the one I'm going to say allegedly for, because technically there were no charges brought up against them. They just had to recall some products. But they were getting in trouble for their recipe having bacteria in it that wasn't supposed to be there. It was essentially a bad batch, and it was making people more sick. And these same bad batches were not killing the coronavirus. So when you would wash your hands thinking that you're doing the right thing during the COVID pandemic, realistically, you're killing all the other bacteria on your hand except for the COVID virus.
Making it worse.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Well, this episode allegedly brought to you by Method Soap. That was played.
No, allegedly with all that one, I didn't get too far into that one because there wasn't any solid charges saying that was what was happening, but they did recall, again, a lot of big batches.
I mean, it's good they caught it.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. And we've been doing this for how many years? And you lost the plot. You forgot how to make soap.
You forgot how to do the most basic thing that we need the soap to do.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are my big soap controversies.
What about Dr. Bronner's?
Particularly recent. What about them?
Have you ever seen a bottle of Dr. Bronner's soap?
I mean, I have.
That with all the scripture and stuff on the outside.
Yeah.
All the crazy stuff. I was thinking about doing an episode about Dr. Bronner's. There's not enough stuff there, but
I didn't go too deep into it. People really like Dr. Bronner's.
That we use Dr. Bronner's. I love Dr. Bronner's. That's my favorite. Like for hand washing and for dishwashing and stuff, big Dr. Bronner's house. And I did some looking into the guy. He's very religious. And it's like they make the soap off like the cleanliness next to godliness stuff. And so,
I like them because it is a lot more of like the natural ingredients that go into soap. I will say there is no need for it to be like 19-in-1 or whatever. Soap is clean.
But I think that's kind of what it gets to, is like it's soap. It is soap. And soap, at the end of the day, if you want to use it to wash your clothes, wash your dishes, wash your hands, whatever, soap is soap is soap. But I like how it's a little bit goes a long way, because I've noticed like the foaming hand soap.
Ugh, I hate that stuff.
It's water.
It is.
It's watered down soap, and then in the pump, there's an agitator built into the pump.
Yeah, it's
and
pressurized air.
and that's why it comes out
It's
foamy.
pressurizing the air, yeah, and it comes out foamed.
But it doesn't work without all the extra water in there, so you're paying mostly for water. So I'm a big Dr. This episode sponsored by Dr. Bronner's soap.
No, I will stand behind Dr. Bronner's. I like Dr. Bronner's a lot. I'm not a fan of the whole religious thing, but like their soap does what soap is supposed to do. It does what I need it to do.
And a little goes a long way. And it smells good.
There is stuff that you can add to soap, like honey and lemon juice and stuff like that. That has natural antibacterial properties. So if you're putting that into a natural soap, I don't mind my soap being lemon scented because it's a little bit of natural antibacterial properties. You know what I mean?
When it smells good, it makes you want to come back for more. You like washing your hands because it smells like lavender or watermelon or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple little fun facts, like I said, dynamite was invented in 1853 from a chemical derivative of glycerin, which is a waste product of soap making. Here's a big one. In 1868, a man named B.J. Johnson developed the first formula for liquid soap.
Johnson & Johnson's?
Made an olive oils.
Palm olive.
That was the first liquid soap for household cleaning.
Huh. Well, that's fun.
Yeah. Isn't that a fun one? That was in 1868. So again, that was like big. It was big for the time.
Yeah.
You were making big movements forward.
You know, I'm looking back at history and the stinkiness of everything. I'm glad to be living in the times that we're living in.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. It's so terrible.
I don't have to shower with a bunch of other people, and it also doesn't smell bad everywhere.
It would not be a fun time.
Because what would you clean your floors with before? Did they clean their floors?
I mean, the bare minimum. They like sweep them.
But like if Fabuloso wasn't around in the 18th century.
I think I have a note about this, but yeah, 19th century with the public health changes, that was when like vacuum cleaners and like carpet sweepers and stuff like that became a thing. So I think even before then, they weren't even really caring about like their floors that much.
I can't. I have to wear like house shoes because I don't like
going
into someone's house.
They had like everything on the bottom of their feet back then, man.
Like you can't feel it because you already got it all there already.
You got 3 inches of dirt down there already. You ain't feeling nothing else.
Do you have anything else about soap?
Yeah, my last one. I'm going to once again say, please, please, please wash your hands. Researchers in London estimate that if everyone routinely washed their hands with soap, 1 million deaths could be prevented per year.
London figured this out finally.
London figured this out. They got there.
Thank you so much. You're a little late to the party.
Cleaning and disinfecting are not the same thing. Hand sanitizer. I run into this problem all the time at work or with children. I try and make them clean their hands every time we go potty. We're cleaning our hands, motherfucker. And a lot of my kids will be like, I want to use the hand sanitizer. That is not the same thing. You are not cleaning your hands that same way. Disinfecting is killing the germs. Cleaning with soap and water is removing dirt, germs, oils, everything from your skin that is not supposed to be there.
You're not rinsing the stuff off when you're done. So when you use hand sanitizer, now your hands are like, if you looked at it at a microscopic level, it's a battlefield of dead bacteria, but all this dead bacteria and viruses are still on your hands.
You need to wash your hands. Hand sanitizer does not do the same thing.
It's a graveyard of yucky when you're done with hand sanitizer. And hand sanitizer dries my hands out more than
I agree.
Like antibacterial soap does.
I don't like using it at all. It like makes my hands feel dry, but also like there's a film or something that was left over it.
Especially that hand sanitizer that comes out like sudsy.
Yes.
I really don't like that.
There is something to be said for sanitizing your hands.
It's better than nothing.
Yes, it is.
But if you have access to
washing your hands is your best bet. If you're looking for cleanliness, wash your hands. We could prevent so many deaths. We just wash our hands.
Well, I think that was a good one.
That's it. That's all I got.
I like soap.
I thought it was an interesting topic, something you wouldn't really look into. You just kind of use it every day, you know?
I definitely learned something, and hopefully this helps get the point across, because there's the new virus coming out.
No, what new virus?
You haven't heard about, and this is
stepping into.
This is allegedly, but I had an article in the New York Times pop up about the HMPV virus.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
It's kicking up in China. But it's, I'm sure they're, it's the New York Times. So the news and publicity and everything. They got to market the news, but they're saying it's the new COVID. So
wash your hands,
wash your
people. People
hands.
are gross.
Just beat it now. You can beat it now. It's if you wash your hands,
Just wash your hands.
I rarely get sick. I think I probably like once a year I get like an illness and I wash my hands.
I work with kids. I do get sick probably about 2-3 times a year, pretty badly sick because of working with kids, and like the school year starting always brings a new thing in and blah 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 blah. I would be getting sick every week if I wasn't washing my hands as much as I am. Like, wash your hands.
I think 2-3 times a year is a pretty good amount for working in healthcare.
Like, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
There's a reason why nurses are showing up every day washing their hands before they even talk to you. Like, wash your hands.
If you don't wash your hands in 2025, shame
on you. Especially after you touched your wing wang. Wash your hands.
Now, the wing wang is not dirty, so it's
It
fine
is.
So this has been soap.
Yes, this has been soap.
So
my topic is soap.
We're now doing the cold close.
Yeah, assuming somebody stuck around this long.
Assuming someone watched for more than 7 minutes. And you wanna hear the cold close. This is the cold close. But if you don't care about the cold close, thanks for tuning to the podcast. I'm Murna. We am dumb. This is I Am Dumb podcast. I'm gonna ask you to do something, but Myrna's not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not gonna ask you to ring that bell. I think that's all really silly, and you're smarter than that, and you don't need us to tell you to do those things. I am gonna ask that you just, if you like this podcast, if you hated this podcast, if you feel ambivalent about this podcast, just tell people about it. Just say, hey, have you heard I Am Dumb? I hated it. Go hate watch it. I don't care, but just spread the word.
There's a bad podcast subreddit, and if you really didn't like this podcast, you should
post it there.
Link it, post it, talk shit, go on Twitter.
It's fine.
Let them know how bad the podcast is. Tell them. But I'm gonna say, go down in the comment section, comment down below how bad the podcast is, and while you're down there, check out the doobly-doo. Links down below. Like, favorite, subscribe, hit the bell.
Oh, we're also on Spotify, because I don't listen to podcasts on YouTube, but we're also on Spotify.
We are on Spotify. You're gonna miss all my head shakings and knowings. I'm doing something really crazy right now, and if you're on Spotify, you're not seeing this. This is crazy what I'm doing right now.
Wow.
But
my gosh.
Do listen on Spotify, and do tell your friends. Do you wear shoes in your house?
No, not in my house.
Do you have like a pair of house shoes?
Yeah, like I have a pair of slippers.
Yeah,
do I consistently wear them? No. But if it is like cold or something, or if I has been a little bit and there is like something on the floor or something like that, yeah, I'll wear my house slippers. But most of the time, like, we sweep once a week and vacuum and all that good stuff.
Do you ever feel weird about going to someone's house and they want you to take your shoes off when you go in?
I just think it's a weird thing to ask other people to do, but no.
I don't get like upset when I got to go to someone's house and they want to like take your shoes off. Okay, sounds good. But like, I get it. You know, you don't want to like track dirt and everything in the house. Like, I totally understand that. But I hate walking around barefoot. So I do, like, I wear like the house. So I'm wearing them right now. I got my little flip flops that I only wear in the house. And I've kind of contemplated like bringing my flip flops to people's house. Yes. It's like I walk in.
But I think the point of telling you not to wear your shoes is so you're not tracking in dirt. They don't know where you've been wearing them flip flops.
But like if I have them like in my bag, like my backpack, would that be weird?
They don't know. That could just be a pair of flip flops that you wore to the beach. Like, they don't know.
Let's roll. Let's do a little bit of role play. Ready?
Okay.
So I'm coming over to your house, and you don't want me wearing shoes in the house.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do a little role play. Oh, hey, Murna, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming over.
I'm just gonna come on in. And
Oh yeah. You can just put your shoes on the shoe rack right there.
Oh, okay, sounds good. I've got my other, and can I wear these as I pull out my house shoes? Well, they've been in my bag. They're clean. They're my house shoes.
Have you never worn them before?
I wear them around my house.
Only around your house?
Only in my house. I don't even wear them out to take the trash out.
Oh, I suppose.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
And then as I put them on, you notice.
I'm not gonna lie, Ian. I feel like I would take that as you think my house is dirty. I think I would.
Well, then play it out.
I wouldn't take it as Ariana. But like, if I was a stranger, as Myrna, if I was a stranger or someone you didn't know, I think that I would be like, oh, my house dirty.
Well, then play it out, and we'll pretend like we don't know each other that well.
I don't think they would tell you.
We're gonna, but be honest with me. This is
Sure,
so we're gonna. I've got my house shoes. Can I? I never wear them outside. Can I wear these?
Well, do you think my house is too dirty?
No, I don't. No, I don't think your house is too dirty at all. I have a medical condition. I have a medical condition.
That sounds made up.
No, I have a terrible medical condition where if I don't wear shoes, bad things happen.
That's the equivalent of saying it goes against my religion.
It goes against my medical history to not wear shoes in your home.
Leave my home.
May I enter your home?
No,
let me in.
Take your shoes off the shoe rack.
No, my shoes are they're over there. I can't reach them. Can I at least put my house shoes on to go get my shoes off the shoe rack?
No, I'll kick them to you.
They're already, you don't want to kick. I promise you don't want to touch those shoes at all. Those are my outside shoes. You don't want to know what happens with those.
I feel like this is like a vampire's bid to try and get in that.
Let me in your house.
Invite me in.
Please. I have my house shoes.
This feels like a vampire or like a Jehovah's Witness. Like, no.
Are they the same thing? Are vampires and Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, same thing. They're just trying to get a foot in the door.
They're Christian vampires.
Just trying to get
Jehovah's
a foot in the door.
Witnesses.
No, wait, please. No, don't close the door, please.
Please. Have you heard the good word about house shoes? Let me in. There is a medical condition where you got to wear shoes in the house.
What?
Plantar fasciitis. Fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis.
Fascist?
Is plantar fascist?
Plant fascist.
Plant fascist. That's the thing, though. You got to wear shoes in the house.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I think so. Well, if you stuck around for this long, you definitely
Congrats.
know we am dumb.
Yeah, we am dumb.
Bye-bye.
Bye.